Hi all, my name is Valdemar. Welcome to Better Your Chess. So it is time for me to try and attempt to break my record on Lichess Puzzle Streak. So my record is 74 and I think it was just the day before yesterday I did my first attempt in trying to break that record, but I failed miserably after puzzle number 44. And well, I made a follow-up video about that as well. And today, earlier on today, I tried doing more puzzle streaks even, but I kept making mouse slips. I had to start all over again. So I'm going to try and take this one seriously, go a little bit slow about it, and maybe just also not drag the pieces, but click from their starting squares toward the destination squares, so I won't make any silly mouse slips anymore. So here we go. Oh yeah, let me just untoggle this one, jump to the next puzzle immediately, because then maybe if the position demands a little bit more explanation once Lichess has deemed the solution correct, we can at least stay at the current position and just see what goes on for a few more moves. Okay, well, enough talking. Let's get going. I see two targets, one here and one here. Let's check. That's winning the queen. Okay, that is puzzle number one correctly. Okay, now I have to click myself. Continue the streak. Okay, well, again, I see a target here and a target here. And that one can be protected, so that should win me the queen for the bishop. Continue the streak. Was I dragging the moves now? I thought I just decided upon clicking and clicking. This one's not so easy. Yes, it is, of course. That's a double hit, right? I mean, that's a free rook. So normally Puzzle Streak starts with these simple two movers where you have a knight fork or a double attack with the queen or just a mate in 1 or 2 or something like that. And here it is a discovered attack, I want to say. There's one target on g8 and now the target from e4 has moved to d5, but it's still unprotected. Okay, so far so good. And the goal is to get to 75, beat my 74 record. Okay, pinning the queen to the king and winning the queen. Very nice. Continue the streak. Find the best move for black. Well, I see that the escape square is taken, so I can just start here with checking and then checking again, and that's mate. Okay. Looks like a fork position somehow. Find the best move for black, but wow. I mean, okay, so the rook is loose. This guy is loose, but I can't really... Okay, I see what's going on. Once I take on g4, this guy is also loose, and I would, of course, be threatening this. So once I take on g4, I have the threat of knight e3, and I have the threat of king takes h5. So the solution here must be knight g4. Yeah, he checks me, but then I can take this knight. Yeah. Okay, so it's not about speed, huh? It's just about longevity and precision, not trying to make any mistakes. Rook c1 check. There's only knight f1, and then we play knight e2 check, king h1, and rook f1 should be mate. So here we go. Start square, destination square. Be careful, Waldemar. Very well done. Continue the streak. Okay, well, we don't have to think for very long here. This is just leading to a back rank mate. Yeah, I'm promoting to a queen. Thank you very much. Continue the streak. So far, so good. Oh, but that square is protected twice, yeah? Not just by my king, but also by my queen. So that's up a rook. Sometimes these are just, you know, very straightforward. Not really puzzles, but sometimes just pure technical play as well. Well, rook takes b7, and I would have regained the piece, and I don't care so much about black's pass pawn because I'm threatening all kinds of checkmates along the 7th rank. I don't see anything else there. Bishop f2 I can take, and there is not even a follow-up with rook f2, rook e2, because I take that, and also queen a7 can be taken by my rook. So that should be correct. So he's already sacrificing the queen, as they do so often, because if they don't sacrifice, you know, then they will be mated or otherwise killed. Continue the streak. Looks like a mate somehow, yeah, or yeah, okay. What's nice here is a4 check, king c3, and then bishop b4 check and mate. So it's mate in 2. Okay, continue the streak. Rook h5 check is attractive. If the king moves to g7, then rook h7 is mate, so he must take that, but then of course in comes the queen on h5 check. He cannot take me, he cannot interpose me, he can only go to g7, and the queen h7 is mate. I think that is the correct way. Yes, continue the streak. Don't worry, positions will be more difficult. Queen d1 check, rook e1, queen e1 checkmate. Or rook e1 checkmate for that matter. So here we go. It's also about finding the right balance between not thinking too long and just playing a little bit on instinct after all. So here it is this check, and now the queen is no longer protected, so that's mate. Well, yeah, okay. Rook d1, rook f1, rook f1, king f1, queen d1, checkmate. Takes, takes, and checkmate. Okay, here we go. Queen d5 leads to a checkmate, yeah, not queen e4, but queen d5 leads to a checkmate. Check. Okay, so he sacrifices, but then it is a mate on g2. So this is a target. It's attacked once, protected once. Ah, okay. Yeah. And then this is also a target. So the correct move here is this, because he cannot interpose on f4, because my queen was also controlling that side. So I would take that with the rook. Of course, here he just settles for the inevitable. This is just winning. Okay, so queen f1 is a check. Then he has to go king h4, g5 check, king h5, queen h3 checkmate. So just smoking him out. That's a mate. It's a mate in 3 this time, yeah? Okay. Ah, I like those ones. This is very nice. This is cute. Queen goes in between. This is mate. Okay, it's good to know these patterns, yeah? You can see them very quickly. f3. The queen can take because rook f8 is there. f3, threatening mate. So the only thing to do is g3, but then queen h3 is unstoppable mate, unless you want to sacrifice the queen once again on f3. So here we go. Yeah, that's what he does. So that's a tiny little winning attack. Find the best move for white. I'm thinking king a6, because that would threaten b7 mate, yes? It doesn't matter if he goes rook g6 or g7. That's just too cute, but let's just figure that out. King a6, the king has no legal moves. If the rook goes along the 8th rank somewhere, then it's b7 mate. Also when he goes rook b8. But of course that's completely losing. So king a6, rook b8, b7 check, rook takes b7, the other pawn takes on b7, that's check mate. Yeah, okay, well, the same is true just, you know, for any other rook move, so that's just correct. So here we go. Yeah, I mean, Why did I talk so long about that? Just to be on the safe side. Just to be on the safe side. I want to take the bishop, yeah, but I'm pinned. I should try and get out of that. It would seem I'm in some sort of danger. What's the idea here? Of course, queen h6 is the first move that comes to mind, and it must be the correct move. Or... yeah, queen f6 can be taken, and then rook takes g2 or bishop takes g2 is probably just, not probably, is winning for black. So it must be queen h6. But then it's more of a defensive puzzle, right? Yeah, the threat to my queen in g2 is just too strong to do anything else. And this is really the only move to go. Now he's still threatening g2 and my queen. Ah, yeah. So this is the trick. This is, so you do get the bishop after all. Yeah. Okay, very nice, very nice. Continue the streak. Haha. The queen is unprotected on h3. I've discovered attack. Rook g5 check. You can take the rook, but then I take the queen. If I play rook g5 check and you put something in between, then you cannot put your queen in between. Also not the king. And the king can only walk to h1. So this is winning. Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. Continue the streak. Okay, so material is equal. Well, black's down a pawn. So what just happened there, huh? Yeah, I think the idea is that you take on d5 with the queen, and then you're just up a piece. Because if he takes on f6, you take on d1 in between. That's what the puzzle is all about. That you train your in between moves, your intermediate moves. Yeah. I mean, this is just correct. Okay, so you're up a piece here. Easily winning endgame. Okay, here white is in danger of losing the game if we look at the material. But there's a number of things he can do. For instance, there is just the very obvious queen takes e5 check. And then you take the knight on e7. Yeah, it just makes you wonder if there's not something else, huh? Because again, what kind of puzzle would it be then? A defensive puzzle where you just get back your two pieces you're down? So queen e5 check, he cannot take. If he interposes, I take on e7 with check. If the king goes, I take on e7. And of course, we like white there. He's up a pawn and he's up a king position basically. So I think it must be this, guys. Come on. And then if there's not really something else, a d7 is protected very well. So let's just play this, and I don't think that's a blunder. Yeah, okay, the puzzle wasn't more difficult than this, just regaining two knights. Okay, so here we go. Looks like mate, knight g6, queen h3 stuff. How should I begin? Be careful. Knight g6. The only move he can play is h takes. Yeah, then there's queen h3 check, but unfortunately there is still knight h5. Oh, but then I take on e7. Some very nice material on e7, yeah? Okay. I don't see anything else really, so I think it must be this. So takes. Okay, I thought maybe he would play knight h5. Of course, there's g4 then, I realized that. It's not mate. No, I should just take this one. Yeah, that's just sufficient for the win. Okay. Wow. Okay, something funny is going on. I can take on a2, he has to recapture, and then I win the knight on c2. I'm up a bishop, and my dark square bishop controls his passed pawn. So I just move my king towards that pawn, scoop it up, and win with my extra bishop. I also then have 4 against 3. So that should not be too difficult. If knight d4, there's a check on a8. Yeah, okay. Just this was a technical puzzle. How to trade down into a technically winning endgame. Find the find the boost move for black. So let's play a boost move here. G4. G4's mate. No, king f4, rook f2 is mate. Bishop f3, rook f3 is mate. Okay. Check. Check. Mate. Correct. Here we go. Rook h3. Oh, okay. My bishop is controlling this square, so it's difficult for the rook to get behind my passed pawn. My passed pawn, you say? Yes, I will take and sacrifice the exchange on c5. Let's get rid of the paint. Rook c5, pawn takes c5, and b6. And there's absolutely no way for black's rook to get back to the 8th rank. As I said, this square is taken. This square is not relevant because there will be a black pawn here. This square is taken, this square is taken. This square is irrelevant because he cannot go back here. This square is taken, this one is irrelevant because he cannot go back there. So, boom, boom. And, yeah, basically just promoting. Thank you very much. Okay, continue the streak. It's not so easy to find those in a regular puzzle, of course. Here you know that it is puzzle time, so you are supposed to look for something tricky, something with a point. Well, I'm in danger. Yeah, queen a1 checkmate is threatening, so I should defend against that. I'm just looking at queen b7. And then if there's a check on b2, I take it, and then my king will just stop the pawns and I'm up a piece. And if he goes queen a1, there is queen b1, and I'm just up a piece. So this is like a defensive puzzle, or a puzzle where you're trained to be cold-blooded, you know, keep a cool head about it, and then just defend like this. Yeah, okay, so the only move is to take, because king d1 loses the queen, so I must take. And then, in order not to let him promote, I have to go here. But it's not so simple to win this position. Shall we try and play this a little bit more? Look, okay, let's take this opportunity to click on this button. It says play with the computer, and then it opens a new window so we don't lose our streak. That's important. Why does he play that move? Does he really think that's the... Does he really think that's the strongest move? Because probably the only way for me to win it is if this knight can take this pawn. But as soon as the knight attacks the pawn, this dark squared bishop will protect it. And then I just don't see I just don't really see yet how you can win that. You can also maybe trade places. You know, the king can maybe trade places with the knight. So that the knight should... Yeah, but how can the knight go here? It's on a dark square. This is a very strange situation. He says resume practice. Yeah, this is a better move. You see? So he just started with bishop takes knight, but now he says, no, let me try bishop e7. I just don't know how to win this. So I'm going to try and attack that pawn, of course. How do you win this position? This is such a funny thing. Because the king also cannot trade places with the bishop because the pawn is in the way. And you can also not trade places like this because how does the king then get away from b1? This king is completely stalemated for the moment. So what you want to do is bring the knight to a square where it can attack the pawn, and the bishop will not be able to protect it from one of these two squares. But that means the knight will have to control this square, this square, this square, this square, and this square. And I just don't know how to do that. And I don't know if you can win this position without your king. I don't think you can win it with your bishop, your knight, your 4 pawns on the king side. Pull. I mean, just to give an example, let me just try and eat that pawn. He will play bishop b4. Yeah. This is a very strange position. So if somebody sees, well, it's still +3, he says, get a hint. So which scheme am I missing? The knight? I mean, even if the knight is on c6, you know, controlling those 2 squares for the bishop, the knight at that moment is not hitting the pawn. This just looks like a positional draw. So I'm trying to get a hint, because I don't really see how I'm supposed to win this. And I'm really curious to see if the computer knows how to do it. So he says you have to move this. Get a hint. Does he want the king? Does he want to stop the king from coming to e8? Well, okay. Before this takes too long, I may make another video about this. Let's just return. Let's just return to the streak. Yeah. Okay. Let's not get distracted too much. So I did find the correct solution because I didn't want to be mated. Yeah. The next question is if the endgame is winning or not, and I fear it is not. Continue the streak. Queen c7 check. And rook b8. Rook b8, yeah. Okay. And checkmate. Okay. Let's try and get back into the groove, yeah? Because I was in a good groove there. But black's queen is hanging. Why did he play bishop e4? That's a queen, right? That's a full queen. I don't really get it. Ah, careful, careful, careful. Because there's knight f2 check. Okay. So at the moment white's down a pawn. A piece. So I take the queen on c7. There is a check. On f2 I go king g1. He has to recapture my queen, and then I just take the rook on e7 and I'm up the exchange. That's the big deal. Yeah. So you could say that maybe black miscalculated. Now not king h2 because then knight g4 check, but I have to go here. And now not take the knight, but take this lovely rook, and then, you know, even these two guys are still hanging. And so I'm winning even more material here with white. Okay, continue the streak, check. So there are many checks, you know. The thing is, if I take with the rook on d3, I'm not hitting his queen, and he will play rook e1 check, queen e1, rook e1, winning. So I must take on d3 with the queen. Then there are two moves. If he takes my queen, I have this in-between check on e7. If he plays rook e1, then I take on f5 with check. So I must take with the queen. And now the testing move. Yes, I'm happy he tests me, so I must play the in-between move. And now we're up a piece. Okay. I wish I were able to think so lucid during a real game, because, you know, puzzle mode is just clearly less stressful. So, can we win this? Can we somehow try and promote? Well, the knight is really dominating that bishop. So if we go with b5, then b6 is a real threat, because after b6 he would not be able to control the b7 square. So it doesn't make sense to run to the b pawn with the king, because that king would be too late. For instance, b5, king f6, b6 takes the knight, b7 promotes. So b5, bishop d4 we take, and the bishop can no longer catch. So the only safe move for the bishop is b5 and then bishop e8, but then we play b6, and the bishop still cannot reach the relevant squares like c6 or d7, because they are just controlled by white's knight. So we just push, and we push again. Yeah, exactly. Rook h8 check. He cannot take that only with the king, then queen h7 is made. He cannot interpose, he cannot walk away. This is a typical pattern. Okay. Find the best move for white. Interesting. I can check on e8. King has to go to h7. Then there's bishop e4 check. Then he must interpose. And then there is even rook e7 check. King has to let go of the queen. Bishop takes queen. We're up a piece. So here we go. Click, 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 click. And then let's double check. We can take on g6, but then it's a rook endgame, which is probably a draw. Now, the best thing to do is, of course, to play this one. And then, as mentioned, we take like this. Yeah, okay, that's not a problem. Continue the streak. Queen e7 check is there. There's some stuff on c2 and on d3 going on. Well, queen e7 is the strongest, yes. So he can not take the queen, he can interpose. So let's see, if he interposes the queen, I can go knight d3 check, he can go king d1, and I pick up the bishop on b2 with check. And then I can go back and also pick up the rook on c1. So if he interposes knight e5, I just take it. If he interposes knight e2, and knight d3 is checkmate. And if he interposes bishop e2, it's similar. There's also knight d3 check, king f1, and we take on b2. Okay, so this must be the winning move, yeah? Let's double check. Let's double check. There's nothing else. No, this should be fine. Okay. Considered solved. Well, I can take on a3. And then maybe bishop b4, c3, just putting the king into a mating net. Well, there isn't really anything else, right? So we have to start with this. Now let's see. can we play... What's the strongest here, huh? There's knight b4, there's bishop b4. We really have to bring home the beacon because we're down material here. So let's go with bishop c3. That hits the queen. There is c3. Bishop takes c3. And then there is still queen a2. Okay, I'm just missing it. I'm somehow missing it here. Bishop b4. There's also queen d3, by the way. Oh, then bishop c3 threatens mate on b2 and a1. So then the queen moved to b5. Doesn't make sense, or to a6 because it'll just checkmate on the other square. So again, bishop b4, c3. What can I try there? There is also a check on b3, but then just queen b2. So it must be bishop c3, and then of course queen c2, queen a1 mate. But bishop takes c3, queen a2 is what I was thinking. And then there's queen b4 check. You have to go, well, king c1 for instance. I'm not getting this one. I'm not getting this one. Wait. Wait. Now I see how I can get the bishop on g4 involved. Bishop b4 c3, bishop f5 check. There is bishop d3. Well, that must be the solution. I'm not seeing it completely till the end, guys. No! I just said to myself, I'm not completely seeing it to the end. I just trusted it somehow. So why did I discard knight b4 again? That's a pity, huh? That's a pity. Why did I discard that? I'm threatening mate. Well, here also there is the bishop f5 line. I forgot that I should reinvestigate knight b4 and introduce my bishop g4 f5 idea in this line as well. And then, of course, it becomes clear. Because if the bishop just goes here, then in conjunction with the knight, he's controlling those two squares. Oh. That's a pity. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. So how long have we been recording? Let's just check. How long have we been recording? Just over half an hour. I think that's a very nice length for another video for you guys to enjoy. Please bear with me. I'm going to break the streak, you know. I will get to 75, 76 maybe even. One of those days. I'll just keep on trying. For now, I hope there was some value for this in the video. If you think there is, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave your comments on YouTube, whatever. Thanks for your attention, and we will see each other in the next video.